How do I know I'm really off on that first ray and I'm onto the navicular and whatever? So sometimes it's kind of hard to do, but there's a little wiggle that occurs. All right. So if I find this navicular tubercle, know that's about where it is. Come up. Okay. First ray's coming here. Feel a little bit of a bump. If I stabilize navicular, come to that first first ray, coming there, I can feel there's a little wiggle. Now there's a lot of wiggle in soft tissue deflection, right? So you got to kind of balance that. But some of this is not truly guessing, but it's a guesstimate. Am I exactly on those segments? All right. Now, if I got both hands down here and I'm trying to wiggle that first, that's not working. So I got to know that I'm up towards that navicular. Okay. Now, is the navicular going to move a ton? No. So the other thing I can do, especially he's got like kind of a bigger foot, and you got some of those big old basketball football players, is I can just grab that first one. I don't have to do a ton to that navicular, and I can just come up and down here. Right? Because that navicular is not going to be wobbling all over the place unless I have a really unstable foot, and then I'm not doing these moves. Make sense? Okay. So now we get to the second. How the hell am I going to get a second on, what does it connect with? Uniform, right? So again, I palpate up. There's usually a little bit of a ridge there. If I come to that second, I get to proximal where I think things are. I've got it kind of pinched above and below, and I'm mobilizing. Well, what's happening to that first one? It's moving as well. Now I get to that third one. What's happening there? It's moving as well, right? So you're not likely going to get a really isolated specific mob like I got to do in this tiny little bone segment here, right? So you see how that kind of goes? So if I'm like, man, I don't really want to move all those, that's when you can again kind of come top and bottom, and there's my up and down, come to that third. Again, stabilize the cuneiform, but it shouldn't be moving. So I'm kind of just pinching. But if you got a really big foot, sometimes you just can't isolate those. Does that make sense? Okay. So then you can also, for the tarsal metatarsals. Sound good? The other thing we can do is a kind of a group effort here, right? So now what we're going to just have is foot bent, right? So even though I know they're not in a straight line, there's a little angle to that, all right? What I'm going to do now is if I'm going to do a planner, I'm going to go at about the level of the tarsal metatarsal joints with this finger, and I'm going to push up onto the plantar aspect. My counterforce with my right, my mobilizing with my left. Here, I'm pulling with my right, and I'm mobilizing down with my left. So that's more of a group effort. Follow? Okay. What's that joint called? Tarsal metatarsal. What's another name for that? This front. Good. All right. Then if I wanted to do the opposite motion, I could either pull, which I've told you I don't really like you guys doing, so we want to be able to push, right? So we would roll them over. Okay. And again here, stabilizing, and now I'm going to push from the plantar aspect. So I'm doing more of a dorsal or an anterior now. So we're stabilized, again, about the joint segments here, coming across, and now I'm pushing in that direction. Good. We should not be doing dorsiflexion, right? It's counterforce here, so it's this motion that occurs. Okay? So these are much less like specific, and you're going to do these much less often as well. Okay? But again, it's not as like detailed as some of those others. Can get there. Hopefully you guys will get there, but right now we're good. Yeah. Okay, so that is a within the tarsals. That's between the metatarsals and the tarsals. Tarsal metatarsal. Yes. So those are the ways we're going to do those. That make some sense to you guys?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if we're going to get to that, so let's start with those. Hopefully we'll be able to get back